During the Second World War, all commodities were in short supply, cinefilm being no exception. As a consequence, very little archive film of Sheffield during the Second World War exists today. Of the film that does survive, we've included in this collection some of the very best. To our great benefit today, Bill Baker, a photographer on the staff at the Sheffield Star newspaper, had access to a cine camera and a small store of precious film in the early days of the war. He used this advantage to the full, making the most of the film stock he had to capture what happened in the wartime city. Perhaps most important of all, Bill Baker captured the devastated city centre soon after the Blitz of December 1940. Footage that brings home the full horror of 2 nights of concentrated German bombing. Without Bill Baker, Sheffield would have been deprived of this vital film record.
In the 1939-45 World War, Britain's industrial cities and the people who lived there were in the front line. Sheffield was no exception, and most people here knew that eventually their city would get it. They were right. More than 600 died through enemy action in Sheffield, most of them in 2 horrific raids which took place in December 1940. More than 1,800 people were injured. Some 33,000 homes were destroyed or damaged. It's all now part of history, but the history of Sheffield at War comes to life thanks to star cameraman Bill Baker. Using his managing director's camera and some long-forgotten film found in a drawer, Bill Baker placed on record the tragedy and the horror of wartime Sheffield. He also recaptured the spirit of the times and the humour which kept Sheffield going at its darkest hour. This, then, is Bill Baker's view of Sheffield at War. The pictures are his. The words are as he described it many years later. Despite the ferocity of German attacks elsewhere in Britain, many people here were lulled into a false sense of security. They simply didn't believe that Sheffield would have to endure the sort of blitz that flattened Coventry. And so, on the night of December the 12th, 1940, the city centre was busy. The theatres, cinemas and dance halls were all crowded. Then came the sirens, and the blitz was on. The damage was incredible. Shops, offices, factories, homes, all turned to rubble. For many people in those first few hours, the city was a Dante's Inferno. They simply didn't know where to turn. They had to rely on the air raid wardens, and luckily they at least knew what to do. They'd been prepared for 2 years to help in just such an emergency. Norton was a training centre for Royal Air Force volunteers. They came from all over the country. The occasion here was a visit of the Duke of Kent to inspect new recruits, hundreds of them. The Duke had arrived in an aircraft more suited to World War I. The Spitfires and the Hurricanes were needed urgently further south. Just how well recruits responded to appeals to come forward to fight the Germans is evident from the hundreds of people on parade here at Norton. Remember, just one training centre out of the hundreds throughout the country. Incidentally, these are among the last pictures ever taken of the Duke of Kent, for soon he was to die in a plane crash in Scotland. While scenes like this were going on at Norton and at other airfields in the locality,